Okay, Dr. Gabe.
How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
You.
Great.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. So we are one day away from checking in with Mr. Nagel's neighborhood. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Come on down to Portland, meet some friends of mine.
Yes, yes, yes. Home of the Portland Anchor. So I believe we originally scheduled this meeting as so not a full or a big meeting or anything like that, but we wanted to be able to touch base and connect about anything that we might need to discuss in advance of our presence in the Portland neighborhood tomorrow. And again, hopefully folks who can make it do make it there. Would love to see your face there. And so I guess if it's okay with everybody, I'd just like to open it up. Does anybody have any key items that they feel need to be discussed or sort of fine-tuned in advance of tomorrow? I'm sorry, Chris, I just now saw your hand.
Oh, I just threw it up as soon as you said if anybody. Good evening, everyone. I just had a quick question. I know we had talked about getting some flyers and things into like barbershops and corner stores and things like that. Are we going to have those available that we could like pick up in Portland, since mine is next week, so that we can get the word out to the folks who aren't necessarily going to be on the email distribution for the Property Owners Association and the email distribution list for the renters that I've got some people sending out?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can certainly make some flyers, use the poster to make some. We were able this past weekend to get flyers made from the Portland announcement and place them in strategic locations in the Portland neighborhood. The Portland Family Health Center folks allowed me to leave some flyers there for patients checking in. We went to one barbershop. It was closed. What's it called?
Littles.
Yeah, Littles is what the one that Mike told me about. It was closed, but I did leave some in the mailbox. Then there's a Save-A-Lot store. The manager there allowed me to leave some flyers where they have newspapers and other publications that are given away. And the same at the large Kroger in Portland. They allowed me to leave flyers there. And I look for that place you said at 26 and Main Street, Mike. For some reason, I wasn't able to figure out what it was. So I didn't leave any at the 26th Street. The place at the corner there looked like it was kind of boarded up. What is it?
28th in Maine.
28th in Maine. Okay, that's the issue.
The Shawnee Post.
Okay.
Which is in Portland.
Yeah.
Do we
You
know?
also left some at the Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah, the Dairy Queen. There on 22nd Street. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know when the postcards were mailed out? Did any?
They should have, as I sent in the email, Mike, they should have hit the, they said, I sent you an email. They said it should have hit on today, if not Saturday, today.
Yeah, I didn't get it Saturday or today. Did anybody else?
Well, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, according to the media people, and I confirmed that with Dr. Wade. So they did go out. So they may hit tomorrow. And we knew on this first one it was going to be close. That's why I think we jumped on this, getting these flyers out as well. So
several folks just remarked too. I think Gabe just remarked he's seen the announcement all over social media too, which is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pushing that like crazy. I don't know. I sent it to, feels like 50 people. Mm-hmm. Facebook wouldn't let me send any more attachments. So I hit some kind of threshold. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was Rita or Laura one of you guys went over to the venue and looked through. I think Kathy told me, or Kathy told Mary, who told me that you guys had been there to check out the facility.
Yes, Rita went to try to figure out where to set up the food, what the room was gonna look like. And was able to chat with folks there.
Talk to
We've also-
Kathy.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay,
We
Kathy.
also did approach the table to see if they would be willing to provide the food. We could purchase the food from them, but they did not think they had the capability of doing it since it would be an evening meeting. But
Okay.
we have another caterer who can do it. Just to provide some light refreshments, sandwiches, chips, cookies, drinks, things of that nature.
So what do you guys think you'll need in terms of setup? Either, from other committee members here that are coming, or do I need to find some additional volunteers for setup?
No, go ahead,
Go
Rita.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, they had the room set up the way that it's going to be set up for tomorrow evening's meeting.
Okay.
For Kathy. And
Mhm.
so Mike, I'm sure you've been in there. And so it was like, basically kind of how they set it up for church. It was just kind of theater style. And then they have like a head table and they have 2 whiteboards on rollers. I asked her to leave those. With the size of the room, we didn't think we'd need a microphone. She said that they have like, some kind of little system, but she wasn't sure how good it was. But I think the space is fine. So I, told them not to do anything extra that would accommodate us nicely. So when I pick up the sandwiches and get there, because it start at 6:30, so I'll probably get there like 5:30. Just make sure everything is set up, and then we're going to be good to go. And I plan to go to each location. I've already been to Southwick Community Center. I think I did that on the same day, Chris. So their room, they have tables and chairs in that little community room, so that's perfect. So these first 2 on the setups were going to be good.
So Rita, do you need some of us to be there with you at 5:30 to help you?
Be lovely. I would love to have anybody who wants to come. And so, yeah, 5:30 would be good.
Okay.
To be there. And you just parking's kind of interesting because it's like 18th Street. It's one way going north. Is that
And
correct,
it's really
Mike?
narrow, and it's narrow up there.
That's narrow, so it's just
Mhm.
on street parking.
Mhm.
Well, so it's actually a foundry across the street. They like cast metal and stuff, but they have a parking lot. You can park there. There's typically quite a bit of parking on the north side of Portland Avenue
Yeah,
Mhm.
because there's not much. There's a few buildings on that end, but if you get further west on Portland Avenue, the only thing on that side is the expressway. So if you're carrying food park on the 18th side, so it's easier. But everybody else, I would say park on Portland Avenue.
yeah, that's the table is right around the corner.
Yeah. So the table's in the same building. They may have that entrance open. But there's 2 double doors on the 18th Street side. You can park on Portland and just walk up.
Okay.
One additional
Or
piece of
parking in one of the-
information. We will have Charles Stallworth and one other gentleman just for all 10 locations, just in general, like we have for board meeting. We will have our 2 security people there. Not that we're anticipating any issues or anything like that, but we're just trying to make sure we cover all of our bases. So they'll be there for the duration of the meeting. We will have the sign-in sheets for when people come in so that we can capture their name, address, their neighborhood, telephone number, and email.
Mhm. And one other logistical issue, we had a meeting with Honeywick, and remember, they are the folks who are redoing the web page so that they bring us into the 21st century. We have started talking with them about the possibility of creating an online survey to get feedback from the residents in the 9 neighborhoods. So one of the things we can do at a future meeting is just to talk together about the format for the survey. When would be a good time to include the survey on the web page? Keeping in mind that it's going to take Honeywick a minute to get some things adjusted and ready for prime time.
And Laura, speaking with regard to Honeywick, because I talked to them this afternoon, they are going to take down the request for proposal that's on there. As a matter of fact, they're not necessarily redoing the website. They are creating a brand new website technically,
Yes.
because that was just the platform. Okay. So they'll go from scratch. But they will take down the request for proposal. I just gave them what they needed to get in, and they will post the neighborhood meetings, the schedule that we sent. Now that may not get on for tomorrow for Portland on the website, but it should be posted at least by Wednesday. So all the rest of them would be on there. So they're beginning, Laura and I just met with them last week in terms of the kickoff to get started on the whole new web development piece. So I just wanted to share that information as well.
So this is it's a pretty small thing, but would it be possible to, so there's a little notice or notification at the top of the web page when folks click on like the Facebook ads about the meetings, there's a little message at the top that says something about Tuesday and Saturday meetings and those being postponed. I believe that's an old message from long ago, but I've responded to several people on Facebook. Is there a way that they could just like in the short term remove that? Because I
I'm
think
sure
it's
it is.
confusing some people.
That was way back before the board was even established,
Yes,
Dr. Gabe.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I
Okay.
saw
When
some
we were
people
doing
on
community
Facebook.
engagement meetings twice a week, every
Yep,
Thursday and
those.
every Saturday for like 8 months.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
we
just a
can
couple
get
of
them to
people
take
thought that
that
meant these
down.
meetings were postponed.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can get them to take that down.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thanks. Mhm.
Perfect. I mean, I think everybody's pretty much, I mean, talked about it, but I'm just really excited about this. I think this is a big
Yeah.
step for us, and I think this is a part of us like getting in the community, and we get the opportunity to prove what this organization is about. And I'm just looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Um,
The more the merrier at the
Absolutely.
meeting. Yeah. The more of us
Absolutely.
that can be there, I think it bodes well for interaction with the folks in each neighborhood who show up.
Well, for my purposes, I need to get clarification because I've got to jump on this first thing tomorrow morning. So there were 2 poster board things that we talked about. One, I want to make sure that I'm on point. One had to do with the, who we are, what makes us different, that kind of thing, that edited sheet that's part of the minutes that was discussed at the last meeting. And then the other piece that I think we talked about was the proposed agenda that was edited. I think, and I had mentioned to Dr. Rollins, I didn't have that. Dr. Rollins, you had that online making the edits when we were going through it last time. But if I can get a copy of that now, am I correct to understand that those were the 2 pieces that we wanted to put on the big poster board to have in the room? Is that correct? So that people could kind of see, who we, they could kind of marinate in their heads in terms of who we are, what we're about, and then also the agenda to kind of manage expectations. Am I correct in those 2 pieces?
You all excuse me, I'm at basketball practice, my son. So I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
That's
But
okay.
that's correct to my understanding. I will I'll send it the updated questions this evening. I'll send it as soon as I get to the house.
Okay.
If you
Okay,
all
and
want
then
them
the
on the
other
poster,
piece,
nope, that's not a problem at all.
okay,
But
and then the other piece is, we had talked in general, like when I went through the recording, we talked in general about handouts. And Chris, you mentioned that, but it didn't talk about what we were going to put in the handouts. You know, someone said it might be a good idea for somebody to have something to take with them. So,
I thought we had talked about,
I don't know what that was about.
know, like a timeline history. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, from,
Timeline history?
Yeah. Rather than, go into a long spiel about, the history and how we got to where we are now, we were just gonna do a printed like a timeline, and then had some basic info on WEOP that people could carry back, and if they wanted to share it with their neighbors or whomever else.
in a handout. I think there was some piece that may have been created a while back that we could modify and use.
Yeah, I remember there being some sort of document in the past that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't too old.
Okay, so let me be realistic. With regard to getting these poster boards, with regard to getting food, to getting all this stuff, that piece may not be ready tomorrow. Because we didn't really drill down in that in the meeting. It just talked about the handouts. Now, Laura, will you get into a little bit of that in
Mhm.
your remarks?
Yeah, I will. And let me try something. Let me see how much I can help to get handouts done, because the extent to which we can put our history in a little timeline on a piece of paper and have it as a handout, and some other profile of who we are and what we are, that means if we use it as a handout, that we are reserving the maximum amount of time for the folks from the neighborhood who come to the meeting to stand up and talk. That was, I know, the main reason why I was advocating using handouts and using information that was blown up on poster boards, because people could read it and we wouldn't have to use their time going over it. I think that was the concern that others expressed too. So Rita, why don't you let me do the poster board part? I'll try that, okay? Uh-oh,
Now, you mean you mean the timeline for the handouts?
yeah, I can
Because
do,
I've got the
yeah,
poster boards and we can talk about it
yeah.
offline.
I'll just help you get it together, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
So, and you
okay.
can concentrate on the food, I'll concentrate on the visual effects for the meeting, okay? Now, is everybody still interested in having the blown up poster boards with information on it? You still think it's a good idea? Okay, all right, so we'll put some work in that tomorrow morning and just bring it with us to the meeting. Now, Gabe, we were looking at the elevator speech and all of that previously. Do we want to look at that during this meeting? Because it looks like we may have to edit that a little bit. Is anybody interested in looking back at that, or can we just,
I think we probably should, even if it's briefly,
okay,
just because we will be sort of front facing tomorrow.
yeah,
Does anybody have that readily that they can share? Do a screen share.
I think.
Let me
Rita-
put it up on the screen again.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Hold
Thank
on
you.
just a second.
While we're doing that, Mike, I gotta say, so tomorrow I will be late but I will be there. I have a board meeting, a different board meeting, but I'm gonna be in there.
We see where your priorities are. Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
Okay, here we are. Can we put some quick attention on this just to see if everybody's comfortable with it? I think that we might have to do some editing in the last entry. What is so special about the partnership? But let's look at what.
Oh,
we have.
sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Sorry, I forgot I was sharing screen. Okay. Go ahead.
No, leave it up there, Rita,
Yeah,
so we
you
can.
see it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
It says, as a public entity, the partnership is bound by Kentucky's open meeting and open records law. How's everybody feeling about that?
Now, the reason I put that from the recording, there was discussion about helping people to understand, get a sense of the fact that we are our transparency. And so rather than get into a long paragraph, I just thought speaking to the fact that we are a public entity would kind of summarize that. But all of that is there to be changed or edited or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a small, I think there's a D that needs to be added before the number 12.
where,
Mhm.
I mean, it's a small little typo.
where's that at?
Oh, excuse me, in the third paragraph.
Oh,
before-
okay, we were gonna get down there, because I think that's where we're gonna need to do some
Oh,
work.
sorry, I was jumping ahead. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
sorry,
I see that too. I think that's where we may need to do some editing, but what about that
Okay.
first one? Who are we? What, let's say who we are instead of who are we? Let's just say who we are and not make it a question. How about that?
That works.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I think
Who we are.
it's
Mhm.
Miss Laura. I think it's good. I do want to emphasize because I ran into it because I tried this already on somebody. I had to explain more why the public entity part is important versus the private. So the public, and then breaking down the efforts. So revitalization efforts in West Louisville, it gave a talking point because they was like, what does that word mean? What does that detail?
Okay.
So long as we're able to understand and be able to give more detail, it's fine.
To support revitalization, so maybe not use the word revitalization.
Yes.
To support
I like the way I gave an idea, but don't have a suggestion to fix it. But
to support
I mean, so we say it later.
What if you say, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that support the economic well-being of the West End.
economic well-being. I think we're going to be called on to address more than economic issues, because we got a note today from a constituent that really wants to see us do something for children, to find things for children to do in the community, so they feel connected to their community. Let's see if we
Alicia,
can.
I'm sorry.
Let me do this, you all. Let me stop sharing for a second to bring up a Word doc, because this is a PDF, and then I can make the changes right on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. Alicia,
Yeah, hold on just a second.
So I know the word revitalization was the sort of the focal piece of that feedback. If it was maybe community guided revitalization or community guided development or something like that, would that alleviate what you feel like you were encountering, or is that not?
I think it would, because it kind of
Okay.
gives a leeway to what it means. because unfortunately, some people will look at that and think, you know, gentrification in a negative content, which is the issue that I
Yes.
keep facing.
Yes.
So as long as we can put something that explains more of what we're doing, we can use the word, but just adding something to it. I hope I'm
Okay.
making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Dr. Milliner put positive community growth in the
Oh, yeah.
comments.
That was
I think
good.
that's good.
Support positive community growth in West Louisville.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's very direct. How about that?
I like
What's
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, say what it is now.
To support positive community growth in West Louisville.
So this is in the first paragraph.
Created by Kentucky's General Assembly to support positive community growth in West Louisville.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's good about that change is it keeps it broad enough to
Yes.
encompass a wide spectrum of things that the community might want to see.
Mm-hmm.
In West Louisville or in the West End?
In West Louisville. Let's keep it, let's say that, in West Louisville. To support positive community growth in West Louisville. That sounds good.
Miss Rita, I just want to say you're doing a good job because I'm one of those people. Look, I can spell great when ain't nobody watching me write it. When a whole bunch of people looking at me write it, all of a sudden I can't spell no more.
Well,
And
you
you
know,
doing
that's
it.
why you got that backspace key.
Right. Right.
All right, so what about this as a public entity? Is that staying in?
Partnership is.
Or the
bound by
partnership or the public, the highlighted?
as a
I think those
public
are fine.
entity.
Need another space in front of as. If we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
be
clean up the spacing and stuff, y'all.
Mhm.
Because I'll do I'll do a whole check on spelling and everything. Right now, I'm just trying to get the wording. Do you want that partnership in parentheses and public?
Yes. Well, my
Yeah.
vote is yes.
Partnership, yes.
This might just be me, so I like the meaning of that last sentence that is highlighted yellow. It sounds a little legalistic to me. And I'm wondering if there's a way for us to communicate what those things mean
Yeah,
to the average person, as opposed
You
to
could say-
like
Public-
How about
Okay,
this?
so as a public entity, the partnership is bound by Kentucky Open Meetings and Open Records Law, semicolon, meaning that all of our meetings or whatever is open to the public. Or
Well, let's
whatever.
just say that real quickly. As a public entity, the partnership's meetings are open to the public
yes.
and
Yes.
its records are also publicly available. How about
Yes.
that?
I like that a lot better.
Mhm.
And it wasn't bad before. I don't mean to criticize
Yeah.
anybody's work, but I just think
no,
that
it's
is
a draft, y'all. That's what drafts are for.
As a public entity, the partnership's meetings are open to the public and its records.
Yeah, I got a spelling issue. That's the definitely wrong one. And its records
And its records,
are also publicly available.
so publicly available. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so what we do. Partnership.
Yeah, that looks good.
Alicia, does that second under the what we do we need to pivot from revitalize again like we did before, just so it's clear what we mean?
Yeah.
Did you run into that when you were?
No, because my pitch kind of includes that.
Okay.
But I think the way that it's worded now, it will spark the conversation, if nothing else, if we use the verbiage on there.
Okay.
Partnership works broadly with West End residents, government, and investors to revitalize West Louisville neighborhoods based on input from West End residents and business owners.
Well, one of the things I think we need to be careful, like in that sentence, we're using West Louisville and West End. I think we need to be
Yeah.
consistent, don't you guys?
Yes.
What do we call ourselves?
So
West,
we're using West Louisville up here. We got West End Opportunity Partnership. That's why I was always suggesting West End, because it's the West End Opportunity Partnership.
Mhm.
But
If we use both.
we have West End
Gotta make
Opportunity
both
Partnership, we have West Louisville. What do you
What did she
think?
say? What did
And
you,
if we use, there's debate on whether or not it's West End or West Louisville. If we use both, then we're, you know, both camps can either agree or disagree. Like we're not picking sides, if that makes sense.
okay. Okay.
I have one question for the residents on here right now. Which one do you? I use West End, and I've always used West End. What do y'all normally use?
West,
Do y'all say West End? Y'all
I
say
say
West End?
West Louisville.
I've
Yeah,
always
I
said
think
West
it-
End.
I say
Mhm.
West.
Yeah, it depends who I'm talking to. Like, you know what I mean? If it's somebody who understands Louisville context, then it's West End. All right, but if I'm somewhere else and people don't understand like that, then I say West Louisville. But I say West End mostly.
Government investors.
Yeah, I do. I say West End.
To realize, to revitalize. West.
It's not West
End.
Louisville Opportunity Partnership, it's West End Opportunity Partnership.
Okay, so if we say the partnership works broadly with West End residents, government investors to revitalize West End neighborhoods based on input from West End residents and business owners. So are you advocating that we only use the term West End instead of going back and forth between West Louisville and West
Yeah,
End?
I'd say that's continuity, but
Okay, well, let's just change that one Louisville to End, West End neighborhoods. Okay,
you want to keep West Louisville up here?
let's see, so West Louisville. To support positive community growth in
Because you
West.
would say in the West End.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know if y'all can see the chat, but Dr. Milliner makes a good point. She said, but it sounds repetitive.
What, the second one that we did?
Mhm.
Okay, partnership works.
What did she say?
She says it sounds repetitive. So let's leave it like it was.
Yeah, right here, I agree.
West Louisville neighborhoods.
I'm sorry, it just sounds like you're saying West End, West End, West End, West End, and it just, I don't know.
So which one
Well,
should
like
change out? Which one?
I just took that one out because I thought that was repetitive. To revitalize West End neighborhoods based on input from residents and business owners.
West End neighborhood
Instead of from
based
West
on
End.
input. If we say based on input from the residents and business owners, it makes it clear that we're talking about the West End residents and business owners. The residents and business owners. Okay. Is everybody okay now? Now that last one.
We're still leaving this one here as West Louisville. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I
Wait
think
a
if we
minute.
put West End on the top one under who we are, we'll need to put Louisville's West End so that it's clear. Because we're not
To
mentioning,
Louisville West End.
yeah,
What? So no, we're what? So instead of West Louisville, you want Louisville West End?
Louisville.
I think that West End, if somebody not from here is reading this and they don't know that it's, Louisville, they're gonna wonder what West End of what.
Okay.
That's good. I like that. Louisville's West End.
Okay. That looks fine. Is everybody okay?
I'm okay. Yep.
Okay, and then on what we do we feel swell about that? About the language there now? Okay, if so, let's go to what is so special about the partnership. Let's say what is special about the partnership instead of what is so special, because Partnerships boards comprise.
This was some feedback, and Chris, I didn't really capture verbatim, but you were talking about the importance that people hear and understand that the residents, that the representatives on the board were from the neighborhoods and that they were nominated, by their neighborhoods. So that's kind of what I'm trying to capture here, is to emphasize that, like you said, that they weren't just cherry picked. And so you can work on how that language
Yeah,
can be adjusted to reflect your sentiment in the discussion.
okay, so let's try this. The partnerships board is comprised of 21 rotating members, period. And then just say 9 members are residents nominated by their respective neighborhoods, period. Because it puts it up front. It just says it. They
Do
can-
we also add that they serve terms from 2 to 4 years or something, whatever?
Let's see.
the
9
length is?
members are residents nominated by their respective neighborhoods to serve 2 to 4 year terms.
Yeah.
How about that? Does that get it, Chris?
I think that gets it.
Okay, then put another period.
I'm not mad at that change. I think since it says that they're rotating members above, that it may be a little more specific than folks might be interested in.
So don't put the 2 to 9. I
Well,
mean, 2 to 4.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about how I feel about it in real time. You know what? I don't know what y'all think.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
I
damn,
agree.
You
I like, okay, let me agree. I do like the wording. I do like exactly the way it's saying. I think it's too much.
Mhm. So,
Let me check.
so on the second sentence, do you want to make a because what I'm trying to do is make the fact that there are 9 members who were selected by their neighborhood is a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
that should be a separate sentence. As soon as we say there are 21 rotating members, let's tell people 9 members are residents nominated by their respective neighborhoods.
Yeah, and I think my point
to
on
serve.
well, my point
To
on it
serve.
was that if they're not happy, with their representatives, at least they know that they have that potential to run for that position.
Yes.
To make that
Okay.
change. Because I think there's going to be quite a few people who will say that, well, I didn't even know that I could run. And so, well, look,
Yeah.
my term's up next year, so you can run then. So
Mhm.
that was my logic
Okay.
behind one.
So do we want to put a period after to serve, period? And just take
No,
out
I
the
see what he's
terms,
saying.
say the 2,
I'm on the
Take
fence.
out the terms.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that it says rotating members kind of
Mhm.
captures that these aren't permanent spots. Nobody's gonna be,
okay.
on this for their lot for, I don't know, that they're not permanent spots. I think that covers it.
I'm fine whatever the crew wants to do.
Did you see Dr. Milner's information in the,
Let's keep doing that.
did you see Dr. Milner's suggestion in the chat? She was saying that she wants to keep the 2 to 4 year term, but perhaps put it in parentheses.
Is that true for all 21 members? Does everyone have a certain term length?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't need to even reference it.
Right, because you can't serve more than 2 terms.
Mhm.
And after you've served, like, some members are 2 years, some are 3 years, some are 4 years. So 2 to 4 is correct. And people can only serve 2 terms. So that's why I put in rotating, comprised of 21 rotating members. That way they know the board 21 are and they have 9 that are from 1 from each of the 9 neighborhoods.
Mhm. let's put a period. Let's say 9 members are residents nominated by their respective neighborhoods to serve, period. And then 12 members, spell out the word 12. 12 members are representatives from other community-based stakeholders and institutions. Also, based on feedback from each of the 9 West End neighborhoods, and all projects supported by the partnership funds must employ people from the 9 West End neighborhoods.
Miss Laura, look
Okay.
at the chat real quick, because that's a good point too, Dr. Moore.
They move from neighborhood. Okay. Okay. So take out, it looks like Dr. Milner would prefer to take out the term rotating.
Could we say the partnerships board is comprised of 21 members serving up to 2 terms? Would that address?
Or do we even need to say that?
Yeah,
Are we getting too
right.
far down in the weeds.
I think we kind of
21
are
members.
for our elevators, for our elevator pitch.
Yes.
I kind of think we are, but for
I
sure,
do so.
for sure.
Period. Yeah, 21 members, 9 members are
Period.
residents nominated by their respective neighborhoods to serve. 12 members are representatives from other community-based stakeholders and institutions. All projects supported by the partnership are based on feedback from each of the 9 West End neighborhoods, comma. And all projects supported with partnership funds must employ people from the 9 West End neighborhoods.
So do I have a comma with the conjunction of and?
Right.
Yes, because what follows "and" is an independent sentence. It's a full sentence. All projects supported with partnership funds must employ people from the 9 West End
Okay,
neighborhood. That's it.
Okay.
It makes it it's a compound sentence, so you need a comma.
okay.
If I didn't know any better, I would say we had a group of academics on this call, you know, co-authoring a paper because because the level of scrutiny. I like it. I like it. We got a good group. It's fun.
Okay, so let's step back and look at it. Any more wordsmithing we need to do? Okay. And so let me ask this right here, it can either be made as a handout or it can be on the poster board. Which would you prefer?
I like for people to be able to walk away with it if we're
Okay.
not, if we have the ability to turn that around by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really like them being able to take it with them and just have it.
And we can put the logo at the top.
Yeah, we'll have it on our logo letterhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot easier than doing the poster boards.
If we have this on one side and the timeline on the back, if that is doable, that I think that would.
And what on the back, Mike? What do you?
The timeline or history?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, don't forget about the agenda now. Are we going to do that separately?
Well, let's just put the agenda up. That could be on a board. Don't you think? And then everybody sees it.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because the agenda is going to be stale once the meeting's over. I mean, let's give them information they can use and share.
If they want to save it, they can save it.
Well, the agenda will help. The agenda will be important too, Mike. It will help to then when they go home to start digesting this, they will remember the points that were covered. So we can do front and back, the partnership, and the timeline, and then we can do also a separate handout for the agenda, unless we could create something that would work on half page.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Why
Well,
do you think
depending on how long the agenda is, we could do, we could give all 3 pieces front and back. but is that too busy?
Yeah, why do you think you need the agenda now? I mean, initially I thought the agenda would have been important when we were gonna go through and do these things, but now that you're gonna give them this handout, I think this is the agenda other than the conversation.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm really
Right.
thinking that we don't need to pass out an agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that works for me, Dr. Rollins.
No, I'm saying
We
let's work
can
on you.
have,
I just think it's less
maybe
work.
some
It's
That's
less
what,
work.
that's right.
The
That's
purpose-
one less thing.
Mhm. We could have something standing up that says the purpose of the meeting, and then, you know, have the quote from the statute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue posting the agenda. I just, if people want to take it home, they can take a picture of it with their phone.
It's important to keep it simple.
Mhm.
And if you're gonna do front and back, you do this piece on one side, you do the timeline on the other. And the important thing is being in the room for the conversation.
Mhm. Okay. Is everybody swell with that? Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then I'll put this on letterhead, and then Laura will work on what that timeline's gonna be to include it on the backside.
Yeah, I think we already have something that we could use.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to look into the Google Drive and
Yeah.
pull out some stuff that we have.
Yeah. Mhm.
So at this point, are there any other questions or input, feedback about what we have here on the elevator speech? So then if not, do we want to just kind of go over the agenda quickly again? So we know what that is, because we made the tweaks last time, but Dr. Rollins, and that's on me, I didn't ask you for it soon enough, because I know you were sharing yours and you were making those changes as Laura, as she was going through. Now I have the written notations on that because I went back through the entire video. But I didn't know if you had them on your agenda. And if not, I can, we can figure out what that is after this call, and then I can set it up and just send it to everybody.
Make sure I'm clear. You're saying you're referencing the questions now? When we go into the Q&A portion?
Yes.
Were you
I
asking
guess
me
I
to
was
put it on?
referring to that as the agenda.
Okay. Would you like me to put that on the screen, or what were you asking? Make sure. I tried to run home
I
real
was just
quick and
asking
get.
if everybody's comfortable, do we need to just kind of revisit that for a minute before we close
Oh,
out?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You say yes?
Yes, I think it would be helpful just so people can refresh their recollection about what to expect. Okay.
So of
Yeah,
course,
that's the
if
one,
you
because I don't think
remember
I have that
correctly.
in my email.
Okay, I'm sorry. We removed the
So,
communication portion of this
yeah.
and figured we would start with community needs, and I'll just kind of leave them there, let you all kind of look at them, and then I don't mind sharing. I'll send this to you in just a second here, Rita.
Okay.
That's
So you can
fine.
have it.
Because in the notes, there was no change to community needs.
Right. Measuring success. I'm just gonna kind of scroll down. If y'all need me to stop or go back, please just let me know.
I really like those previous initiative questions. I think we'll learn a lot there.
notes. These are my personal notes I was just taking from our conversation. I guess posted with questions already, and yeah, any additional. This is just not personal. Y'all don't worry about this.
Okay,
When I was
Okay.
from we were talking, I was writing notes so I can keep up with what we were saying.
Okay.
Right. Okay, yes. Okay, that's what I have in my notes. The 3 points that Laura made was on the community needs, same as you had listed. The second point was how to measure success.
Mhm.
What does success look like? You know, if we're meeting their needs, that kind of thing. Make sure that those questions address that. And the third point she made was that the lion's share of this should be them telling us what the needs are and understanding, and that's by going through some of the questions you have with regard to previous initiatives and that kind of thing. What does it look like? What does success look like if we are meeting their needs?
Right.
And
And I'll
that was
send you
what we
this.
were talking about initially about the poster board, was putting this stuff on there.
yeah.
But if this is more along the agenda for you to cover stuff, is that correct, Dr. Rollins?
Oh yes, I didn't know you
So
were
we don't really,
calling this an agenda, but I was referencing it as
well,
the
I was
questions.
saying it
But yeah.
was part of the agenda,
Oh, I'm
you know,
sorry.
in terms of
Yes.
how the night will flow.
Absolutely.
But you know what, Rita, if we had this information on the poster board, it helps to focus the attention of the whole audience onto this. They can read ahead and see what's coming up. They may
Yes.
want to save their powder until they get further down in the agenda. It also is a way of helping to discipline the participants so they know everything that's going to be discussed. And it'll make it less likely that somebody will just hijack the meeting talking about something else.
Okay.
And
Yeah, we just have our logo on the poster board and have this
Yeah.
as he has it categorized here.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm saying.
makes
And it
sense.
helps
Because
to
the
focus.
last note, I had the note that it said helpful big poster board when they come in to see all this.
Yeah,
so, I mean, while that
Okay.
comes up, I did have a question. So Dr. Rollins is facilitating all of this, right?
That's correct.
So I think, I love all of my community, but some of them lack brevity. So Dr. Rollins, like, how do you have diplomatic ways of, kind of getting people to wrap themselves up? And are you comfortable doing that?
Of course, I'm a professor. Been a professor for a long time.
you know how to get the hook. You know
Absolutely,
how to get the hook.
and I know how to do it in a nice way. Sometimes there's some people are a little special, and they can. I've just done this I've been doing this for a long time. But don't get me wrong. I think I know you all will be there. Laura will be there, but I think it's gonna work out. As long as we keep them on task. I don't have any doubts that that'll be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, above all else, some of these meetings can sometimes turn into gripe sessions, and I think
Right.
we want to keep it more geared towards, the future and not, any, hatchets buried along the way.
Right. And I was thinking about that as I was preparing the questions, trying to guide them in a way that allows them to talk while also, being productive in their conversation. So that's why I really wanted you all to see the questions early, a couple of weeks ago when we shared this, so that you all can help me, if you all see something that, I probably need to eliminate or add to the questions. And I don't mind changing them right now if you want to, if you see something else that could possibly or potentially help guide the conversation in a positive direction.
Does everybody feel comfortable about how the conversation is going to flow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel comfortable. Dr. Jones, if you don't mind, can I have a point of privilege real quick in this meeting? Is that all right? I do want to express to everybody as we roll this out. I normally don't say a lot. I normally I've been observing, looking, listening, and I think a lot of you have been doing the same thing. Let me reassure you, because I've looked over everything multiple times now to make sure I understand exactly what our role is. And I know we've had some meetings where it kind of went left or went right. We actually have a larger say, and we have a larger position in this We Are West End Opportunity Partnership than we allow ourselves, which means we need to support each other. There was some things I know Dr. Miller and I wish I would have said in a certain meeting when they came at you, and I do apologize for not standing beside you or touching and agreeing with you on what you were saying. But as neighborhood representative, I do hope that y'all can join me. I know that sounds crazy, but make sure y'all join me in these community engagements to make sure that the community knows it's not about all these other organizations. It's truly about them, and we're representing them despite what anybody else says. So, but it calls in numbers, right? So if we work together and we remind them collectively, then it has a powerful hit than if we try to do it by ourselves or we continue to keep silent. I know my son is from the West End. I want him to come back home when he goes away to college and come into an environment that he's happy to say that he's a part of and be able to contribute to that. And this is a way that we can do that. So I just want to say that real quick. So Dr. Jones, thank you for that personal privilege to be able to share that.
Dude, thank you. You gonna get me crying in here. Thank you. Thank you.
Way
That's
to
powerful.
kick off that's a good way to
Yes.
kick things off.
Yes. Does anybody else have any other items to share before we depart? It's hard to top that. Ms. Sharon, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to say, because of my work time, I will not be there exactly 6 o'clock at the meetings, but I'm gonna try my best to get there before they're over with, even my own meeting, because of the work hours. But I do support each and every one of us.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent.
One quick thing, I guess, can we get name tags or something to identify the WEOP board people so that, does anybody think that would be a good idea? I may have some labels sitting around. I can print something up, but,
Mike, I was going back and forth about that because on one hand, I do think it would be good for folks to know who we are and to know our connection. But on another hand, I know that I'm going to be showing up just more as a community member than anything. And I really want folks to know that, like, more than me being on this board, I'm going back home to my house in the West End, just like you after this. And so it's not us and y'all. It's like we really are all neighborhood. But that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know which one.
no, I mean, it may be better to be flies on the wall. So
Yeah, and I don't want people
I
to
had
think, well, I
planned-
don't know.
I had planned to have, just a little regular name tags with the markers so people can put their first name. I may have a name tag on that just says Rita, or one that says Mike, so that when people are talking, they at least know you by your first name. You don't have to indicate what organization you represent or anything like that. People who sign in on the sign-in sheet, the goal is for those folks to be members of residents of the neighborhood. But as far as official name tags and things like that, I don't think that's necessary. We want to keep it simple and we want people to feel comfortable. So if I look over and I say, okay, Chris, his name is Chris, or I look over and there's Alicia, or, not Alicia or Chris with the West End Opportunity Partnership.
So
At this
But we
point,
are.
this is
because we're going to be
different.
sort of
You
flies
all,
on the wall.
I was thinking a little differently. I was thinking you all want to show the community members that you all are from them. You all are them. I mean, you all you're serving a dual purpose here. You're serving as a community member, but also a member of the board who's been here. And that adds more credibility to what we're doing by saying, hey, we're here as members and as board members. But
So
Sure.
I kind of agree with Dr. Rollins, but if we can take like a middle of the road approach, we can have like the name tags where people will put their first name or whatever on the name tag. But at some point in the meeting, as the meeting is getting started, I think it's important to say to the crowd, we have neighborhood representatives here who serve on the board of the West End Opportunity Partnership. Would all board members who are present, please stand up. And
Yeah,
you can stand up then, and then people will see you. And I
Yeah.
think when they see that you are just a regular person, a regular looking person, it will go a long way to make folks feel comfortable.
yes.
There's some power in that, of you know, being identified.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that.
So how do you guys feel about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a balanced approach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it's
I just didn't
the,
want anybody to feel like it was all official kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know, because the way you started out with that, Mike, but I think acknowledging everybody in the room, and people can put first name, last name, they can put on there whatever they want to, but I just thought it was, you know, not so formal. So I
Yeah.
liked the recommendation you made, Laura.
Chris, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was
think
just
I really do
wondering,
think seeing you guys there
with
will make people feel more comfortable.
the representative for that neighborhood have a problem being identified. Like I know Mike, everybody knows Mike, I'm sure, over in Park.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's not a lot of Park Duval that know me, so I have no problem letting them know that I am a Park Duval representative.
Yes.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Miss Sharon, was your hand still up from earlier, or did you raise it again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
So one thing that I forgot to do, I was so excited to get to the rest of everything. I forgot to approve the minutes of our last community engagement meeting. So if it's okay, I just want to circle back to that. Does anybody have any questions, corrections about the minutes from the last community engagement meeting?
One thing I didn't add, that after I sent them out, I didn't make a notation like under the little list of reminders that there would be a scribe at each of the meetings, and that's going to be through Dr. Rollins and Diana Whitlock. So I will add that to the list, to the minutes. And then when I was referencing about Dr. Rollins' agenda, that's not really the agenda. It was what we just went over. So I will make that correction too. That doesn't need to be a part of the minutes per se.
Got it.
And so
Thank
with
you.
those two corrections.
Got it. So aside from those two corrections, does anybody else have anything else regarding the previous month's community engagement meeting minutes? So hearing none, the question is the approval of the minutes from the last community engagement meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the next question on the agenda is meeting adjournment. So, hearing no opposition, I think this meeting stands adjourned.
All right.
Thank
All right.
See
Good night,
tomorrow
y'all.
night.
See everybody tomorrow.
Tomorrow night in
Night.
Hilton.
Mike.
Patty.
Laura, I'll
night,
reach out
everybody.
to you in a few minutes for us to talk about the timeline.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye,
Dr.
everybody.
Rollins, do you need anything
Yes.
else from me?
I don't think so. I think I plan on being there early as well, and we're just gonna
Okay.
go through. And you all, of course, you got my cell phone, so that anything that comes up, you just give me a call, and we'll go. We'll make it work.
Okay.
You all have a nice night.
And thank you so much, and thanks for being flexible to be
Of
on
course.
tonight.
No
Okay.
problem. No problem. Y'all have a nice night. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.